Good evening, hello, and welcome to the Vidpal.net Startup and Travel webinar series. I'm Emelina Monero, Vidpal Social Media Manager, and we are a global real-time video marketplace for the average traveler. Tonight we are talking with Rodrigo Flamenco, the founder of Epic Web Studio, Take Right Action, the Hustlers Mastermind Group, and the Freedom Hustler Show, as well as a virtual lifestyle and business coach. Hi, Rodrigo. Thank you for taking the time with us for this interview.
Hi, Melina. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I am so excited. I'm so excited to see you because we've known each other online for maybe the past few years, and we're in a mastermind group together. And I remember when you first created the website for Epic Web Studio and you're first creating your business. And so it's so cool just to see how much has changed and how much progress you've made, and to see all the things that you've accomplished and how your determination has paid off. So I'm really excited to be talking to you right now.
Yeah, me too. I remember we started doing accountability partners. I don't know why, and we were trying to keep our tabs every week.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I wanted to start off with some travel questions, and it was really cool. So kind of following you, then also reading your website in great detail recently, and stalking you online. I've seen that you've traveled to Bulgaria, and that at one point you were planning on traveling to Greece, and you're from El Salvador. So I want to know a little bit more about your travel history.
Well, actually, it was my first trip on plane because El Salvador doesn't have a good place with the passport. We need visas for everything, and Bulgaria was one of the places where I didn't need any visa or anything at all. Just being there, I've been able to travel to countries around Central America at most, but that was my biggest travel, and I had to go to Colombia first, then to Spain, then to Bulgaria, and there was a long layover, so I was able to enjoy a little bit a couple of the countries, each country, but it was amazing, and it was a very mind-opening experience that I would recommend everybody to take.
How so? How was it mind-opening?
Well, since I live in a very small country, there are so many things that blew my mind. For example, when I was over Colombia, I was able to see city all up to the horizon. And I was thinking, okay, I can do a lot. If I were here, I would be able to make so much money. It was mind opening because now I could see where other people were standing from, like people in Australia and USA and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, these guys are like, since they are living in places like that, that is going to be hard for them to understand the place where I'm coming from, which is pretty much you travel in a plane over El Salvador and you will see a gray area, which is pretty much the city that you can go through it in 30 minutes, and then you
Wow.
bring a lot of agriculture here, a lot of woods and all that, but there is not much progress when it comes to cities and many businesses and things like that. So it was after that it was clear to me that I couldn't be focusing here, that I need to focus out there because it's going to be very hard to do something good in my country. So yeah, after that, all, everything has changed for me, like the marketing way, the way I'm doing marketing, the type of clients that I'm trying to get right now. It was a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah, I noticed that you've worked with a lot of international clients. I want to say somewhere between 8 to 16 clients from, well, not necessarily clients, but 8 to 16 different countries. It's how was it that you got those connections to so many different people in different countries?
Well, first I started with Digital Nomad Family, which was the mastermind where I met you. I was I remember that when I started like offering free websites for people, but it was hard because people who want free websites are people who cannot pay like a hosting or something like that. So, uh, but in the end, I was able to get a couple of jobs done, and thanks to that, I was able to get some referrals, some testimonials. Cody has given me some clients from time to time, people who found me through his blog. And then I learned the power of being like connecting with a lot of people. So I started joining other groups, other international groups of entrepreneurs, and that started like making a lot of referrals. And again, I had a lot of technical knowledge, which when you're starting up, that's like a huge advantage. But at the same time, when you want to go bigger, that can hold you up a little bit. But when I was started, it was easy for people to look for me and asking me questions about technical issues because I knew the answer. And that's how it started. Pretty much, it started like trying to give my work for free to many people or to very low prices to build a portfolio, to build a lot of testimonials. And so I could start like looking for better and better clients.
So what was the first step that you made from starting to connect with more higher paid clients?
The first thing, like, I understood that I had like very limited workforce, you could say. So I started like meeting with people in my country, and that is something that we have in El Salvador. Like, we have incredible, amazing talent in many areas, like in graphic design, in videos, in developing, in apps, in video games. We have amazing design amazing talent when it comes to digital services. So I started like meeting with these people, and what they didn't knew was how to connect with people from the outside. And it's like, oh, I could be the connector here. So I started joining up with them and started like creating a little network here where like if somebody needed something, I will pass it on, I will connect the people. And again, sometimes I wouldn't even have any profit at all. I was just very focusing on creating like a huge network first. And that's how it ended up. Like I ended up meeting a lot of people, and right now I feel like I'm seated in like this huge mountain of money when it comes to people who can do amazing work. So right now in this point of life, it's like, okay, next level. Like I cannot be focusing on the clients that I have so far. So right now I'm starting to look for like the huge features, and so I'm trying to get the biggest clients I can because right now I'm like very confident that I can do something even better than some people I don't know in UK or USA.
And I saw that one of your clients was Paramount Pictures, Warner Brothers, and another film company. How did you get that? How did you land that client?
That was for social media. Pretty
Uh-huh.
much was uh, they wanted to start like doing publicity here, but they didn't know how. So the answer we gave to them was like, okay, we can create a fan page, like uh, one fan page for all of you, where we are going to put all the people who want to see movies together here in this fan page on Facebook. And every time that you are launching a movie, we are going to be promoting it here. So the three of them liked the idea at the time because, and since we were the first ones who were doing social media at that moment, it was easy to get it because in Central America there was nobody else who was doing social media in that time. Like 2 years ago here, it was like, no, my son can do a fan page or something, and many businesses were like not seeing the value of social media. We were the first ones to do it, so we were the only options to take, and that gave us many opportunities.
Do you see like a change in the landscape of people in Central America of kind of understanding the power of social media and more people coming up offering those services?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so something that happens here is because the countries are so small. Uh, Pretty much, if you do a business that nobody else is doing, and people start seeing like, okay, this guy is making money, then the next thing you see is that there are now 5 agencies of social media, then 10, 15, and then even the big agencies are like giving away social media for free. So now the value has lowered down. For example, in Central America, when we started, we could give like $2,000 a month the service. Now it's like $500 a month. But that's the reason why I want to focus more on clients on the outside, like because this happens. Like I cannot. It is tiring to do a new service every 2 years because as soon as people see that you're winning in that area, everybody's going to start doing it. So.
And then I read on your blog, and I remember talking about this with you, that initially you were making $600 a month, and you reached to the top of like the top jobs in El Salvador, and you reached your dream company, and you kind of realized, like, is this it? Like, they're kind of like a cap at your growth. And what was it that kind of inspired you to kind of take a different path or to go to entrepreneurship and start your own business?
The thing is, like in this type of countries, all the work that you can get is like, I don't know, a very slavery type of work. Like if you want to earn more money, you have to work even more, even more, even more. And the people that I saw that were making a lot of money were working so hard that they even started getting like health issues and things like that. And for me, it was very clear. Like, what's the point of earning, I don't know, $3,000 a month if you are not going to have time at all? Like, I knew some guys who were working from 4 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the night, and pretty much they had naps in the day. Well, let's say they were installing some server, and in the meantime it was installing, they took a nap, and that's how they were sleeping. And they didn't even got to their own homes. Like they just went to their house to bath and change clothes, and then go up again to see the client. And I
Wow.
saw that in that position where I was, in that job that I wanted, I was able to see the best companies in my country, which was not a very, uh, I don't know, like a good landscape for me. I wanted to travel, I wanted to have more fun of life, and it's like, no, this is not working then. Uh, Pretty much at the moment I didn't knew what to do. That was all that I knew until I found out like the 4-hour work week and other bloggers. That's how I found Cody because in DNA because I was looking for case studies of people who have done that, and I found him and I found DNA and I found many other people. Oh, this can be done. Like this is so interesting, and I think I always had like uh, the entrepreneur spirit. I don't know because I was never happy in any work. It was always this feeling like, is this it? Like, is this the best? I don't know. Now that I'm free, even the worst moments that I had as an entrepreneur with my company doesn't feel as bad as the ones that I had when I was working for somebody else. So this this feeling is definitely something that I can live with, that I like, that makes me happy even in troublesome times, even when I don't get any client and it's like, oh, I'm running out of money and I need to get another client. Even in those times, I'm happier than I was when had a job. So.
Can you tell me a little bit more about Epic Web Studio and Take Right Action, and like kind of about like what you offer and what are your goals for that, and where you see that in the future, and just what you want us to know about it?
Epic Web Studio started out like my first business, and luckily it has been enough to keep me living and maintaining myself. Pretty much I started with a web design agency with videos. Now it grew to something much bigger than that. Now we're doing apps, we're doing social media, we're doing a lot of services. Uh, so that's the one that pretty much gives me the money. Take Right Action is not giving me money as I wish so far, but I understand that blogs are something like long-term strategies, so I don't care about it. It's just the right action is a project that I have so other people can see, like if I'm doing this in El Salvador, in a third world country where it's ravaged by violence and many bad things, and I'm still doing this, then how people in the United States or UK or Australia can say that they cannot make it happen is it's just a way to show like I could do it, so you don't have any excuses. And through that, I was able to get some working as a coach. I got people who wanted me as their coach in France, in Philippines, in Costa Rica as well. I've been able to work that up, and I try to think like, okay, every every now and then I'm trying to think, okay, what's the next level? What's the next level? So I created the Hustler Mastermind Group, uh, where it's just a free Facebook group, and that's the way that I see Favorite Action right now. It's like I'm trying to give all the value that I can for free for people who are interested in improving their businesses and improving their life, and I want to put all the resource to them so they can have it. Because when I was starting out, and when you have like a $600 a job or something like that, it's very hard to pay for courses where you can learn about how to do all this. Right now, there is a lot of uh, free materials that you can use, like for example, Creative Live, amazing. I didn't have that when I was starting. And
what
there
is
are
it
so
called?
creativelive.com.
Oh, Creative Live.
Um, and YouTube, even YouTube has some amazing channels there. Like for example, Gary Vaynerchuk has the Ask Gary V show, and where he's offering amazing value and that wasn't there when I started like 2 years ago. All these things didn't exist. So I want to join that kind of movement of providing value and knowledge to the people who are not able to afford it. So, or the people who are still beginners into this new world of entrepreneurship and technology. So that's how I want to see it right now. Like Big Right Action is just a free project for now. Maybe in the future is I'm going to have some products there. I don't know. But for the moment, I just want to create the value to the people.
I know your mastermind group. I've joined it, and it is amazing. Like I think kind of what you're saying, like a network of people is like a really strong resource. And in your mastermind group, like the people are so rich. Like they're all very active and very collaborative and helpful. Someone asks a question, then like a group of people respond to that question, and then they could post like an issue they're having or an idea they're having. Just like a lot of people come together and help each other. So I think that's great, and really the energy of it is very contagious and exciting and motivating and inspiring. So that is definitely an awesome thing that you've created.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to create, because right now the groups that I knew that were like that were paid groups and very expensive ones. So that's okay. I can provide this to the people, like a space where people can join and celebrate their wins. And every time that somebody is like having some negative thoughts about what they could do, they could see some guy like, hey, I just got 30K this week, and I just bought a 10K Rolex or something like that. And so, oh, I can do that too. If you can too. So that's definitely a feeling that I wanted to create for the people who are serious into doing business. Because when you're alone trying to create all this, it's like the whole world against you, like the whole world telling you that you cannot do this against you. But if you have a group of people where everybody's like posting, I just did 10K, I just did 5K, I just did 30K, and it is just as like a space of fresh air, like where you can take it. Okay, I can breathe here from all this negativity and all these people who are telling me that it cannot be done, and also you can get a different insight of the people who are doing it. Like you can learn a lot by being surrounded with them.
So how could someone join that mastermind group that you created?
Pretty much just look for the Hustler Mastermind. I have a link in takedirect-action.com. If you go to the sidebar, there's the link. Or you can join by email list and you will get the access to the link there. And if you're a hustler and if you behave, you're going to get access there. And if you behave, you're not going to get banned. Because the thing is that we need to keep it like, I need to be very strict with that. Like I don't want this group to become like a place where everybody is posting their promotional things and all that. It's more like a group for helping. So we don't want trolls, or we don't want the spammers offering deals or something like that. It's not for that. It is about helping you to grow with the knowledge and with the support of everybody, and to create friends that can help you out to grow or to get to the place that you want to be. But it's not a place to be a spammer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll put the link to how to access that. I can add it to the blog post and then in the YouTube description too.
Awesome.
And then so you're talking about how like there's a lot of like discouraging people, and I remember recently in a post that you wrote that some of your family and friends weren't very supportive. And it's like, how do you combat that kind of negative energy?
Well, in my case, it was like really obvious. Something that I always had was like very hard logic. Like I was able to be very objective, even if I didn't like what I was seeing. But it was okay. It's there. Like this is happening, so I cannot deny it. And that is something that I don't think that many people have, the ability to see the bad things that they don't like and don't get depressed by it. I'm able to do that, like to see what's happening, but at the same time, it was very easy for me to see people like you, people like Holly, many friends that I have, like crushing it in life, living an amazing life, and then see the people telling me that it couldn't be done, and see their life and say, okay, no, that's not what I want in life. But especially like, it wasn't kind of like judging them or something like that. It just understanding them. Like for them, they never have seen something like this in their life. Like they can only see what we have, like this country and what it has to offer, which is not much. And that's the only thing that they had in their life. So they have never seen anybody doing anything close to this. And then how could they understand? Like how could they believe it when they never have seen anything that good in their life? It's natural that they get cynical about it because it's scary for them. It's unknown territory. So for me, it wasn't like uh, I wasn't angry at them or anything like that. I just understood that they will never understand. There was no way for me to convince them, even though I'll try at the beginning. And I just closed my path. For me, it was a simple question: Is this? If somebody came to me and giving me an advice, the question was like, "Is this guy living the life that he wanted to live?" And if the answer was clearly no, then I wasn't going to hear it. And I just focused on the people who were giving me the support, which is people in the US, in Sweden, in Australia, many parts of the world. And even though I didn't have the support here, I had the support from there. So I just focused on the good things.
Yeah, that sounds like a really great thing to do, and it may sound simple, but I don't think it is, because I think for a lot of people it's hard to kind of distance themselves from all that negative chatter, if that's just kind of how like the way reality is, and then to kind of just draw yourself and connect yourself to support that you need and to like, you know, the kind of energy and people that you want to be around. I think that's actually like a hard thing for many people to do. So that's a really awesome quality.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like again, there was this book that was recommended by me by the founder of the agency called Firstborn. That it was called. The book is called Good to Great. and then they talk about the Stockingdale paradox, which is pretty much having absolutely confidence that you are going to be able to crush it in life, like that you are going to triumph all of the hardships, but at the same time, you need to be able to confront the most brutal facts of reality without getting repressed about it. So you need to see be able to see the bad things that are around you, the blocks that are going to be in your way, without getting depressed, and with the confidence that you are going to be able to go through them. To be like brutally honest about them.
What do you, for on the perspective of like the kind of mindset that you need to succeed? What advice, like what top 2 or 3 things would you advise people on kind of cultivating a specific mindset for success?
Okay, first, definitely try to join my mastermind or join other mastermind, doesn't matter. Like, try to be surrounded with the people who will support you in your goal and people who have done it already, so you're going to learn faster. Uh, this, there is the second one, like being brutally honest about the things that expect you out of life. And this is where it's hard because, in a way, it's easier for me to do that because I live in a very bad country where, like, really bad things are happening here every day. We have more murders in 1 month than countries that are in the middle of some war. So for me, it's very easy to understand that if I don't do this, if I don't succeed in this, I will have a very horrible life. And that's like very motivating. So that's kind of like a lot of motivation for most people, like people living in the US, people in the UK, people in Australia. Like, if they don't do it, they are still going to have a good life. So that is hard to take motivation for to work into something that you are not still comfortable, when you know that the worst thing is that you're still going to have a pretty much damn good life. And so try to understand, it will be more like try to understand that if you don't do it, you maybe have like a comfortable and good life, but it's still not the best that you can do. And the simple question of answering, is this the best? Like, is this the most excellent thing that you can do? And if it's not, take it out of your life and just create an ecosystem where nothing but excellence can be there. And if you're not, and it's going to, it's not something that you can do overnight. It's pretty much going to take years to be able to build that. But try to do it. Like, try to be surrounded with people who are not going to take you if you're not trying to become your best self. Because there are some people who will, there are a lot of people who will just be grateful that you are in their life just because you're you. But at the same time, you want to be surrounded with people who are going to be pushing you, like, is this the best that you can do? No, do more. Like, do more, do more, do more.
So for business coaching, what are the first things that you go over with your clients to help them in the direction that they want to go?
First, like the first goal that they have, for example, most people go all wild trying to think, oh, I want Ferraris, I want millions of dollars, but why do you want it? Like, what do you want millions of dollars? Most people's dreams can be funded very easily with just $5,000 or $10,000 a month. So the first thing is, like, define how much money you need to be able to live good without a job and to be able to have some hobbies and things like that. So that will be the first goal. Then the second goal will be, how much do you need to, like, live a life of excellence, which pretty much most of the time won't take more than 10K a month or something like that. But the first goal usually can be around $2,000 per month to $5,000 per month. It is not necessarily that much amount of money to live a good life. and to have the free time to do whatever you want. So I think defining the kind of life and the everyday, like your perfect normal day, uh, and how much that will cost, that will be the first part to do, because now you can understand, okay, like if I need $5,000 a month, what can I do? What can I offer? And how can I make it to this goal working the less as possible? For example, if you offer apps development, you can easily sell an app for $10,000, and there you go, your first 5K. Maybe it's going to take a 5K to develop the app, and the other 5K will be up to you. So there you go. You only need one sale a month. If you are selling websites, probably you just need 3 websites a month to get started, and so on. But the goal is like to try to get there as soon as possible with the least amount of sales, like trying to sell yourself as premium and trying to get amazing customers. Because in the end, it's going to take the same amount of work, like trying to get a lot of customers. So instead of trying to get a lot of people, just put the same amount of work in trying to get just one amazing guy to do business with, and that's going to be it.
What advice do you have on like finding like the right kind of leads, like kind of finding your ideal customer?
First, well, you have to like the ideal customer has to have like 3 requisites, which is pretty much first you have to like them, because if not, you're going to meet a lot of stress. Second, they need to have a lot of money, because if not, they are not going to be able to pay you. And third, they have to be willing to invest, which is very important, because I have met people who are making millions a month and they want to pay like $100 for a website or so. Like they're very cheap. So you need to have these 3. And for example, in my case, it is easy to know who is going to value my work by seeing who is paying for advertising in magazines, in Yellow Pages, in Google Ads or Facebook Ads. So if somebody is paying ads, like in my case, of course, because I sell online marketing, then okay, this guy is interested in that. So I can start seeing how can I help them. Because at the end, even if you are trying to look for a job or trying to get a client or do a business, the question that you have to answer right away is why they should pick you. So you need to do a lot of like research first on the people who you want to do business with, and understand how can you help them, like really help them. Like if I'm trying to sell websites to a guy who already has a good website, that's not a good deal. Like because I'm going to try to be manipulating this guy. So, but let's say that this guy has a website, but it's a bad one, and I know that he could be converting much more clients using one of my designs, and I'm absolutely certain about it, and I will contact them.
And what kind of, I guess from 3-4 years ago, from when you started to create your own company till now, what is the biggest difference that you've noticed in your life?
There has been a lot. Like more confidence, definitely more happiness. I think more direct as well. I think some people hate that about me now because I mess up with their fancy idea of what they have in reality. I try to make them think really hard. And most of them want simple answers, and I'm not the one to give that. I cannot give simple answers because reality is like very complex thing. Like reality is a very complex thing, so you cannot go around with simple answers. Second is like I understand like my mind is always active thinking how can I make this better. Like this is the first thing that I think every morning, like how can I make this better. Always testing new things because the ways that I have to contact people I don't know, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, are not as effective as now, because in the end marketers ruin everything. And when they're, if you find a way how to do it amazingly, even if you don't talk about it, you are not that unique. Like, there are some other, if you thought about it, somebody else is going to be thinking about it too, and then everybody's doing it. So you always have to be like changing things, how to contribute more, how to create more personalized connection with the clients. And the thing that I see that is truer now than it was before is that you have to become a person of value. Like, you have to become the best person that you can, because marketing is focusing now to one-on-one, like one-on-one marketing. Like, the best way was like trying to uh, get around as many people as you could. And even when Facebook started, like, you could post do a fan page, post some amazing posts, and many people will share them. Now it's not possible if you do not pay that. And many people are giving away free stuff to get their attention and things like that. So I think that these kind of methods are not working enough. So you have to be able to become a person that other person will like to talk to, and how you can come to the clients not as somebody trying to sell a service, but trying to see the clients as a possible friend, somebody who is going to be with you, and that you can help them increase as well in their path of freedom, in their path of business. How can you help them do that? And that's how it's becoming. Like, you have to start making friends online. You cannot just go and look clients and sell services anymore. You have to pretty much stalk somebody over the internet. If they are good, if they are a good fit for you, and if you are a good fit for them, and if this is a good fit, then trying to see how you can become a friend of them, how you can become a trusted advisor, so that when the time comes that you have to sell a service, it's not about, hey, I have a service, are you interested? It's not. It's more like me calling to you and saying like, hey, I want to sell this cell phone. Do you know somebody who's interested? And if you are, it's going to be me. And it's going to be the same kind of conversation, but at different stakes.
So earlier talking about resources that you've used yourself, what were some of the best resources that you use that have helped you?
There is definitely a plugin for Chrome called Rapportive, which is pretty much a tool that you can use to see if the email that you're going to use for the person is the email of that person itself. Like, if it is, like, if I use your email, I will see your photo and all the social networks that you have registered under that email. So that's really good when you're trying to find out more about this person that you're going to contact.
It's called Rapportive?
Yes, Rapportive.
Oh, that's a great tool.
I think Google Drive and Dropbox. Amazing. I have all my business there. Like, my computer has crashed right now, and I don't even care that much because everything is on the internet. So I could even throw this computer, and I can access everything that I have over the internet in any other computer. There is another one that is called YesMail, to see if the people that you have sent the email have opened the email. Although you can use MailChimp as well, that is incredibly good, because you can see if people open the email, how many did, if they click through the links that you wanted them to click, and all these things. And you can import like all the addresses from the names, the name of the business, the email, and you can create very personalized email for a batch of clients in the same industry. So that saves a lot of time. And definitely the most valuable resources will be like learning social dynamics, like how people work. For example, there is a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. I definitely recommend that. Read that and start thinking how you can use those 7 triggers to influence people to do some things. And again, like if you use them to manipulate people, in the end, it's going to have like very short results. But if you use them to convince somebody to do something that is going to affect them in a very positive way, then it becomes really powerful because you can start learning how to use this to create amazing connections with people. You can use it with friends, family, clients. They are going to be very grateful because you're using it in a positive way. You're helping them with that. So that's definitely something that Influence, that is a book that you need to read. Also good to rate and work the systems, like creating working procedures for everything that you do, and even videos about how to do it can help you out a lot. For example, if this type of countries, the bandwidth of the internet is not that good, so a Google Hangouts and YouTube can help a lot because you can record what you do in the computer and immediately they're going to be in YouTube. And you can put them in an unlisted list in YouTube and give that to your virtual assistants. And now they are going to see how you do things, and they are not going to have any doubt. They can replicate the same work that you do by giving them a manual of how to do it and having them watch a video on how you do it. And then there's no doubt. And they will do exactly the same job that you do, maybe even better. And pretty much all the tools that I use are the ones that are free online, like plugins from Google Drive, Google Hangouts, all these things. Like I tend to keep it simple.
So was it Protiv? What was the one where you could track people's find out if it was their main email that they use?
Rapportive.
Rapportive, okay. And what was the other one where you could see if someone opened up the email that you sent them?
Yes, mail.
Yes, mail. Okay. And then how is it working with virtual assistants? Is that something that you would recommend?
Definitely. Like in the beginning, I had this problem that thinking, no, they are not going to know how to do it. In the end, the last assistant that I hired for like finding leads, I put the job on Odesk, and there was this guy who comes from Bangladesh. He's like, his opening line like, I don't need your videos, I'm an expert doing this. And as a proof, he sent me a list of 500 leads with the exact information that I wanted.
Wow.
Okay. And the guy delivered like 1,000 leads in just like 4 days. And there was no way that I could do this on my own. So in the end, it's like, if you put your abilities in a context like being in a scale from A to C, being A like the best that you can do, and C being like the worst that you can be, I think it's very easy to understand when you are a C with some skill, but it's very hard to give away something that you are maybe a B or C doing it. Yeah, you have to understand that even if you're a B or C doing it, for example, I could be a graphic designer class F. So it's not that bad, like I can do decent and good. But in my case, definitely it's much better to give it to a graphic designer who is excellent at doing it. And again, web developing I can do good with it, but it is better to give it to people who are experts and trust them in what they do. Like they are not that stupid. they do know what they do, and they are going to do it so much better than you. So you need to focus only on the things that are class A for you. In my case, would be to make connections with people, and everything else, just give it to people who are amazing at doing it.
How do you recommend finding amazing contractors or virtual assistants?
It depends for the area that you are interested. For example, in graphic design or web design, uh, well, let's go for graphic design. Let's say the one question that you can ask for the people is to give them, like, give me the example of what you think it is amazing design. And then they are going to come to you, giving you their example of what their idea of good design is. And you can have a very nice idea of what they are looking for. Now, if you can compare their portfolio to what the idea of a great design is, you are going, and if it is matching, and if it is indeed a great design, then you know that the guy is damn good at doing it. Web development is harder because it involves a lot of coding, and the same with app development. And if you do not understand the coding, it's going to be very hard to deal with. So in my case, I happen to know very amazing developers, so I can easily like show them the portfolio, they can see the code, and they give me some valuable insight like, no, this guy sucks, or this guy is really good, you should hire him. So having friends to consult with are good. Is something good to have, like to ask the advice for other people who know better than you. And again, with video, you can ask, for example, give me an example of your work. Like if you need a explainer video, you can tell the guys, okay, can you do a 5-second sample of how you will do it? And if you like if it is really amazing of the second, the first 5 seconds, it's like, okay, you can go with it. Like there is always, you need always to think how you can test their abilities, and it's going to be different for every ability that they have, because it's not that is standard.
And so another thing I wanted to ask you about is kind of going through this whole process of starting your own business and learning all these new things and applying it and doing really well in it. What is one of the biggest things that you've learned throughout this whole process?
Well, the first, and I think that this is the most scary one that most people do not want to do because they want to delay reality as much as possible. It's like before you do a website, before you do any hiring, before you do any logo or any name for the idea or anything like that, find your first 3 paying clients as soon as possible. If you have any idea, find your first 3 clients, because that is not going to be a coincidence. If you can have your first 3 clients in the first 3 months, and if they are paying good for it, then your idea is valid. Like there is people who are willing to pay for that. There are people who are valuing what you do. And then with the money that you earn doing this project for these first 3 clients, then you can set up your website. Then you can set up a working force for you, virtual assistants to do the work that you want. But do not do anything until you have your first 3 paying clients.
That's a really good idea. It's like a validation process.
Yeah, definitely, and it's the best one. Like, if you cannot find, and this is the reason why most people don't want to do it. First, they don't feel confidence because they don't have a website or something like that. But the most important is that they know that if they are not able to get the first customers in the first 3 months, then their idea is not valid one. And people get really attached to ideas, like they get a lot of feelings into that, but in the end, ideas are worthless. Execution is everything. Like, doesn't matter how many ideas. The way a friend of mine see ideas is like brain farts. It's like that. So it doesn't matter how much ideas you have. Like, what matters most is the execution of them. And you can execute in this work. You can execute right away. Get your first clients as soon as possible, and with that money, you can fund everything else, and it's going to be easier.
And so, can you tell me more about your trip to Bulgaria and what took you there?
One of the masterminds that I'm part of is pretty much people who are doing the same thing I do, services and car selling and all that. And there is like this school from California, but oriented for men. Like there are a couple of women there, but it's like I don't know. I think it's just because of the branding, more men feel connected with it, which is pretty much freedom, fun, and adventure. So every year they have like a big party in many parts of the world, like Greece, Thailand, South Africa. In Thailand and South Africa, I needed visa. And this time was Bulgaria. And the thing is that I went there to meet for the first time many of the people that been helping me from the time I started with Epic Web Studio and all that. And it was a really amazing trip because before, for what I understood, most of the trips were like one day of knowledge and then full party. But this was like a more balanced thing. Like we had party, then a little bit of knowledge and understanding new things, and then party, and then a day of knowledge, and so on. But it was amazing to connect. Like first, to finally meet face to face all the people that have been helping me. Second, to meet new people that I never talked before, and see people who are crushing it, like guys who are doing the same things that I do, but earning like $200, $200,000 a month, or something like that. Like there are a couple of millionaires there. I learned so much from them. And the thing is that the coolest thing about it was that I thought that my idea of my vision was like this huge thing when it was actually a tiny bit of what can be achieved. Seeing that even this, I mean, like when you talk to them and the way how they did their millions, I mean, they needed balls and they needed like a lot of hard work, but at the same time, it wasn't as hard as you would think that it would be. Like it could be done very fast as well, and that was like mind blowing to see their experience, how they did all this kind of money, and it was like, okay, I was dreaming very small. That's what I got from there. It's like my dreams were like really tiny compared to. So that's one thing that I want to give away. Like when people say like be a realist, they immediately think that you are trying to bring him down. For me, reality has like this whole spectrum of really bad things that are happening, but at the same time, really amazing things. Like go to the GoPro channel in YouTube and try to understand that those are not movies. Like those are real life. Those are real people doing these adventures, and that could be you. And if they are doing these amazing things, most of the time, like for example, if I wanted to get $50 million, okay, that's not as hard as the guy from Alibaba or the girl who made $1 billion at her age of 30 years old. Or there are even people who are just 12 years old, 15 years old, doing $500,000 a month. And that you need to understand that reality it can be hard, can be brutal, but at the same time can be really amazing. So just try to. The trick is like understanding and recognizing where there are some paths who have no hope at all, and leave those paths and try to focus completely on the ones that have amazing potential.
And so, if someone wants to connect with you or find you online, how can they find you?
Well, if you go to my blog, takerightAction.com, you will see there in the top corner all my social media, in Facebook, in Twitter, in LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere. So just go to my blog. You can write me to my email as well, Rodrigo@takerightAction.com, and I will be more than glad to answer any question that you may have.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you for having me, Melina.
Yeah, this has been so much fun to see you.
Yeah, definitely. It is so great to finally see you, meet you face
Yeah.
to face.
Well, I want to thank all of you for watching and to let you know that next week we will be interviewing Isabel Riso. She's a brand storyteller based from Chicago. That'll be Thursday, April 16th at 8 p.m. EST, and we will see you then. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.